Welcome, everyone, to a very, very happy podcast crew. So this is season 3, episode 28, and it's actually brought to you by Jersey's Sports Bar. So we want to thank Jersey's. They are now our official sports, podcast sponsor. You can see them up in the corner. It's over above Johnny. Where they are is scrolling across the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of talk about Jersey's a little bit and my relationship with them, and the other guys can chime in if they want. So I've probably been going there for 15 years, maybe 18. They've been open 18. I believe it's as such. Man, so many things are awesome there. So when you go there, much like hopefully when you come on the page or when you're listening to us, you're treated legit like family. I love being there. If you want to go with your family, they have booths, can go with the family and kids. Totally appropriate. Delicious food, pizza, off the charts. If you want to go and be old and crotchety and be an old man and drink at the bar and talk old man bar stuff, they got that too.
Yep.
You know, we've done that before. They have an outside patio that is, open in the summer and fall and spring, but they also close it down and it's heated during the winter times. It's just been so awesome to go there. And I'll tell you a few more things about them. So they're doing 18 beers on tap. So 18 beers at all times, 15 televisions. One of the great things about them is if you're a fantasy football person and it's not the Eagles game and you're like, hey, I want to go see the San Diego Chargers against the Bengals, they got the NFL package. One of the 15 TVs, they put a sticky tab up and they'll tell you where it is so you can sit near the game you want to watch. Here's the other part. One last thing. They have a bottle shop with 200 plus different varieties of beers, ciders, teas, all of that. So Jersey's 2609 Mount Carmel Avenue. They're in Glenside. So they're close to us. Support them. We love them. And we're so thankful that they're our sponsor and putting their faith in us.
It's almost as though you've been there.
I've been there a few times. Yeah, when you go there and your Wi-Fi automatically clicks in, I'm like, oh, Renee, I was like, I've never been here, but I don't know how that happens. They must have Xfinity.
It also happens sometimes that you bump into folks that you used to know a long time ago, and in about 4 to 6 minutes, you've had 3 beers and 3 shots of whiskey.
And they have an exceptional area of whiskey. We drank Redbreast and Jameson, the Black Barrel. So and it was very quick. So the bartenders are on point. Thank you to Barry and Dawn, one of my favorites there. She's been there as long as I've been going.
Right? Shout out to Tom Hendry.
Yeah, of course.
Former right fielder.
Thank you, Jersey's. They are our official podcast sponsor. Show them some love, just like they've shown us some love. We're going to be doing some events there throughout the year. Hopefully some podcasts, watch parties, maybe a beer exchange. If anyone here likes beer, we might do that. So
speaking of beer, this beer is from, I don't know where the camera is. There it is. Speaking of which, from Iron Hill Brewery. Dugan has the same kind. I also have this one, which is the Blue Skies, which is fantastic. Blue Skies Sunny Haze. Another good partner of our podcast and of our page is Iron Hill Brewery. I want to tell you, the number 1 pick in the DPF draft was sponsored by Iron Hill the other day. I put it online, and it was this particular beer, the Philly Favorite IPA. It's very good. Even non-IPA drinkers, such as this gentleman over here, enjoy this beer. It's very citrusy, not a lot of pine to it, and they're really doing a nice job with both of these beverages. I know they have a light lager too, right?
Oh my God,
yeah, that's your favorite.
That's the one.
But check out Iron Hill Brewery. Go to your local beer mart. If they don't have it, ask for it. We talk about that a lot. If your local beer mart knows that you're interested in a beverage, they'll definitely get it in and sell it to you. So really big shout out to Iron Hill. We appreciate your partnership.
And speaking about another good beer here, our friends at Contact and Brewing, I got a nice cold Ring the Bell American Lager here. And I enjoy this beer when I'm at the park at the CBP. Also, the Fransky in LA Golden Ale is very delicious. I'm not really an IPA guy like Chris, but I'll dabble here and there. But I like they had the special batch of the fruit. I don't think they did that this year, but that was a good one I liked. And what was the other one? And the Great Sports Debate beer too. That was good. They have a nice selection of beers. I've only been to the Puddlers location, but I plan on getting to the other locations as well. So stop on by one of them if you're in the area and try some of their brews. And they have really good food as well, and the staff is on point as well.
All right, one more to go.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I'm drinking Dr. Brew Little's. I have the Helping Paul's Pale Ale. Dr. Brew Little's great spot in Maple Shade. They have I think like 15 or 18 of their beers on tap. Great staff. The tap room is awesome. They are distributing in New Jersey, and they've started distributing into PA. So like Mike said, ask your distributor to get it in because it's great stuff. I really like everything I've had from them. And if you're in the Maple Shade area, it's not far, right over the bridge. After a game, before a game, just hop over the bridge, sit down in their tap room, have a few beers. They got a couple TVs. It's pet friendly. You can bring your dog, your cat, your snake, whatever the hell you want to bring.
Yeah.
And they're, it's a great spot, and we appreciate them supporting the page.
Hey, one quick thing about Dr. Brew Little's. 2 blocks down and 1 block over, we used to live for a year, and on that corner is Montagrillo. And so if anybody that works at or knows Montagrillo is listening, go shout out to them. That their pizza is amazing there, specifically their taco pizza. So
And you can bring it in.
you can bring it into that's what I was getting at. Thank
that's-
you for finishing my thought.
Yep.
You can bring it into the brewery. They allow that. So
Guys, we're going to talk about something that we don't want to talk about right now after a happy win today. It's, Chris, what is, your son-in-law is, we don't talk about Bruno, but we're going to not talk about Nola, but we have to talk about Nola here, guys. So, I think there's 2 parts to what I want to bring up is I'm saying that he doesn't make the roster for the playoffs at all. Does the Phillies have the nuts not to do what's right? Because in what situation do you bring Aaron Nola in a playoff game? They're not a wild card right now, and unless something catastrophic happens, they're not going to be in this short series. So what do you do?
It's a great question. I don't know if you can't trust them. You never know what Nola you're going to get. He always seems to have that one inning where he just gets lit up, loses control, just doesn't have any command. He's definitely lost some velocity, which makes that curveball much more hittable. The guy's got an ERA, approaching Romano's right now, and we kill Romano. It's a tough situation because I think the Phillies know that Nola is cooked and he's not going to regain it this year. Hopefully with that freaking contract hanging around their necks, he figures it out for next season. I don't know if they have the balls to keep him off the playoff roster.
Yep. He might tweet the disrespect's an all-time high. Remember that?
Yeah.
You're paying the guy $24 million.
the thing is
It's terrible.
they have to figure out something. We were talking about this during the game. I don't think he warms up correctly because the first inning is his Achilles heel right now, right? He seems to then figure something out, get loose in the second, the third, the fourth. Used to be the Rab 4th inning that killed him. It's no longer. It's the first inning. I think he had like a 9-something ERA in the 9.69 or something in the first inning. So again, if you put him in the bullpen and his problem is the first inning and you need him to get 3 outs, you can't bring him in.
I think the opposing batters get tired from swinging so much and running around the bases.
That's a possibility.
And that's why the 3rd and 4th are not as difficult.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, really. What they should do is shut them down for the whole year, the rest of the year, pretty much, and be like, get your shit together. Just like, there you go. Just like
Jesus.
me and
What?
Steve agree.
Steve
I mean,
Mold doesn't
whoa.
go on the roster. Holy shit!
They should. They should shut him down for the rest of the year and be like, get your shit together. See you next year.
Yeah,
And you only need a few pitchers in the rotation in the playoffs. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna trot him out there because the Topper believes in him. He still has ace stuff. It's all the usual schmeal from him. And he's gonna be dog shit when they bring him in. They don't have the balls to put him in the pen either.
give him some nebulous, he's got some back problem. Guys, I'm going to move on to the next thing I was thinking with Nola before we kind of talk about something else. So I was like, this is going to surprise you, but I'm a glass half full guy. I know everyone shook up.
It's that full. It's really
I'm
half
like,
full.
Yeah, I'm like that's the optimistic part. So I was looking at the worst baseball contracts ever, and if Nola shits the bed, where does this measure up? So we've got 5 more years of this dude, so it's a long time. Mike Hampton of the Rockies, 8 years, 121 million. So this is 25 years ago. Horrendous contract. A 5.75 ERA. Basically got dumped and he was sent to Atlanta, a bunch of injuries. And then Barry Zito, 2007, 7 years, 126. Horrendous. Way better than Nola. Both of these guys, way better than Nola. Zito had a 4.03 for that remainder of his nonsense contract. Strasburg, this is a tough one because Strasburg is currently undergoing the same issue, close to the same issue that Wheeler is. He got 7 years, 245. But after that, he threw 35 innings. So this is like pitchers. And then I look at, position players. And of course, there's Chris Davis. This dude was absolutely maybe the worst contract ever. 7 years, 161 million. And then he hit 168 from there on out. Pujols, 24 million a year, 10 years, 240. I mean, he was sloppy and just declined. It wasn't worth that. Jacoby Ellsbury was another one that I found that was particularly terrible. 7 years, 153, never stayed healthy. And maybe Nola's not healthy. He can't be, right? But I just don't know what else to do with. Then Josh Hamilton, man, what a fucking stud this dude was. And 5 years, 125, and then he just off the field battles. He had some he looked like he had a lot of fun, though. I'm going to say that. A lot of those pictures.
I used to love Josh Hamilton, and then he fell apart. It broke my heart because I was one of my favorite players back then.
Yeah. You could probably add Scherzer in there. 6 teams are playing him this year to the tune of $73 or $4 million.
Yeah,
and he's pitched a handful of games.
Yeah, I mean, Prince Fielder was on this 9 years, 214 million.
Anthony Rendon.
Rendon is maybe the worst position one ever.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you want to go short term too, Arrieta, that 3-year deal. I know it was shorter, but still, that was
he was good for a year here.
Yeah, that was
he had that one good year, Arrieta, and then he just shit the bed.
Yep.
It was a half year, wasn't it, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Then he started throwing the whole team under the bus.
So what do you do with Nola then, guys? Do you bring him on the playoff roster and have him sit his ass? Because he's not pitching, right? He cannot pitch. I'll pitch Walker over him. I'll pitch Bueller over him.
Yeah.
I'll pitch Walker Bueller over him. And I haven't seen him yet. I don't even know what he's done.
Yeah, I say 60-day IL with vaginitis.
Yeah.
I don't know. This conversation kind of leads me into I wanted to talk about the Phillies, signing Bueller, and I think part of the reason, one of the biggest reasons, is that they don't have confidence in Nola, and Walker's kind of turning back into Taijuan Walker's last couple starts. So you kind of have 2 starters that are shitting the bed for you. Sanchez has been good. Ranger's been good. Luzardo's been better than he had been. He's been up and down for most of the second half of the season here, but he's been better of late. So you have three decent starters, and you have 2 guys that are crapshoots every time they take them out. Obviously, Bueller, this year, his 1 year over in the American League, he's got a 5.45 ERA, which is still run per game less than Nolas, and he got released. But for his career, he's got a 3.56 ERA. He is, what was his record? 54-29 in his career. And I think the big thing is he's got tons of playoff experience. And especially last year, he was really effective for the Dodgers in the playoffs last year. And I really think that's what the Phillies are looking for, is for him to come in and bring that kind of experience and success that he had, even though he didn't have a great regular season last year with the Dodgers. His ERA last year with the Dodgers was over 5.38. But
We'll
he came
take
in.
it. We'll take it, Chris. Didn't he throw the last pitch?
He did.
He did. I think
So,
he won.
like,
He won Game 5. He started Game 5 of the World Series, and then I think
And
he
closed.
It closed.
He
Closed the
he got
winner.
the last three
I'm
outs
in
of
on
the
him
game.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
was-
some guys just have it. Some guys just have it when it comes to playoff time and the big lights, and he's that guy. And I definitely think if Nola was anywhere close to the Nola we've had the previous years, this move never happens.
No,
Yeah,
You know,
dead on.
and I think
Dead on.
but I'm all in it. To me, it's a low risk, high reward move for the Phillies. And if they go to 6-man, it gives you a chance to rest these other starters. Give them a couple extra days heading into the playoffs, and then, like you said, Chris, I think if they're not in the wild card, they're going to need 4 starters. That becomes interesting. You know who your 3 are going to be, and now you got to figure out who that 4th is. And hopefully it's Bueller. Hopefully he comes in, and I guess he'll probably get maybe 4 starts, 3 or 4 with the Phillies before the.
I mean, I hope we're up 3-0 when he comes to in that game too, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. But I like the signing. I'm not expecting him to come in and be Walker Bueller from what was it, 2019, where he was on fire, 2.47 ERA in 2021. I don't expect we're getting that guy, because he hasn't been that guy for a couple seasons. But if he can come in and be, just be decent, just be competent. But we'll see. And Sig's right, offense, that's what you need. Keep us in the game, and hopefully the offense hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that pretty much leads me into my topic too. The roster moves recently by Dave. I'm all for it. To piggyback off yours, I'm all for it. It's low risk, high reward. I would like with Bueller. I would like it to be more 09 Pedro than like a couple years ago Syndergaard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to compare it on the Pedro, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, that kind of little spark that you need keep us in games. You get some of these guys some rest down the stretch with a 6-man, and he's been good in the playoffs, so hopefully he comes through in that way for us down there. Another guy, Dave's made a couple of nice little tweaks and pickups. This Tim Mesa guy hasn't looked bad so far. He had a 3.00 ERA in the minors, but since he's been up, 2.61 ERA, and his appearances, I like what I see from him so far. Maybe he could help us down the stretch. And Quakertown's own Lou Trevino, man, he's come through pretty nicely too since we got him. He's only pitched like 3 innings, but like in his spots, I've liked what I've seen so far. A nice veteran down, that has some experience, for the rest of the season and the playoffs. The one addition I don't get right here, where's it at? Garrett Stubbs. Now, it's not because I don't like the guy. He's had a pretty decent year down in AAA. I just don't understand the reasoning that Dave gave to have 3 catchers and take away. I think it's a wasted roster spot, to be honest. You could have brought up a bat off the bench, or like an outfielder like Crawford to spell some of these guys in the outfield, or you could have brought up Kemp's bat's hot again. You could have gave Harper a rest here or there or something. Somebody should have brought up somebody, but I just don't understand the 3 catchers. But it is.
Do
what
we
it
know
is.
the rules for the playoffs? Like, I know that either Stubbs or Marshawn, one of them will be on the roster, but can they travel with the team? Can they be in the dugout?
I think you could have a taxi squad, can't you?
Right, but can you be there? Because I'm
not sure.
I'm sure I don't know. These guys don't know how to work Spotify. And, there's the speaker system, and he's got playlists already. That's a lot to ask Marshawn to do late in the
Yeah,
season.
Just
how to make a proper beer case hat too. You got to make a proper one. So.
a Modelo box, nice little Modelo
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
But just Pink Pony Club on loop. Fuck it.
Oh, man. So, guys, I'm going to go a little bit like off script here and do something we normally didn't do. I want to talk about famous people that you may not have known that were almost Phillies. And I have a lot of information about some and nebulous information about others. But I'm going to say 3 names, and they're all country singers. So, who do you think is someone who was drafted by the Phillies? Garth Brooks, Conway Twitty, or who's another country guy?
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
I was going to say Garth Brooks.
Garth,
'cause
yeah.
that's the only country guy I know.
So it's funny, I never knew this. So Conway Twitty was drafted by the Phillies.
Huh.
His real name is Harold Jenkins. And then I'm trying to find his stats. And he was drafted, but he never played in the minors. He got drafted into World War II and wasn't able to do it. So I was like, his real name's Harold Jenkins. He sounds like he has a good glove, and he's a second baseman. I don't know any of this, but I feel like Harold Jenkins was that. So
Yeah.
Conway Twitty was actually drafted by the Phillies.
Who knew?
That's
I'd rather-
interesting.
I'd rather Harry Jenkins on second than having a twit.
Yeah. All right. So the next one, we're going to know this person. He loved Jell-O pudding pops. Believe it or not,
Cosby?
Bill Cosby
Yeah,
tried out for the
yeah.
Phillies in 1962.
Huh.
There was some problem. Gatorade wasn't invented yet, but he was trying to do something with the water cooler at one of these tryouts.
They were like,
But Bill Cosby actually did try out. So here are a few people that weren't trying out, but they were almost Phillies for different reasons. So Babe Ruth in 1938, he was promised to be the manager. The owner of the Phillies at the time got let go from Major League Baseball for cheating. So Babe Ruth did not come here. As a lot of people know, Babe Ruth always wanted to stay in the game as a manager, and people just thought he was a drunk buffoon.
Right.
So we're aware of that stereotype here.
I know what you're talking
But
about.
it's not true. The Phillies,
Yeah, it's not true.
it's
Let me open another beer.
wink, wink. Meanwhile, it's like today I was like, oh my God, 4:00 is the Phillies. We got the podcast and the birds after. I was like, fucking, no one's going to work tomorrow. No one's working in the Delaware Valley. Incapable. Willie Mays, 1949, was passed on by the Philly Scouts. So
Wow.
that's another one of those ones where we had the chance to, there was the racial divide and Philly wasn't really, ready for that yet, but he was not brought in. Kurt Russell actually was thought about at the end of the 70s when he was playing with the Portland minor league team to be brought in. In 66, the Phillies had the chance to either draft Rick Wise or Reggie Jackson. They were up in the air about either or. They took Rick Wise, great career, not Hall of Fame, but that's another one. My final one, you may not have heard this guy, but he was drafted by us, and then he said he didn't want to play baseball, and he went out in an independent league. JD Drew.
FJDD.
That's the reason why batteries are not allowed in fucking games now. They're like, my dad would go and he's like, hey, I have a fucking heart monitor. And he's like, no fucking batteries in here, buddy. We know what's going on. So I just thought that was Conway Twitty was the one that really blew me away. I was like, no way.
Can you imagine Dick Allen, Willie Mays, and Reggie Jackson on the same fucking team?
And
That would've
Conway Twitty.
And
Yeah,
that
little darling.
would have
Conway
been insane.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That would have been some interesting vibes in the clubhouse there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's sitting there playing his little country music in the corner with those 3 guys around. But that's interesting. Conway Twitty. Wow.
And then they all work at the same bar after the game.
That's funny. That's funny. So I wanted to bring up, and I know Chris, you touched on it on the page, the impact that Harrison Bader's having on this team. And and truth be told, when that was the only offensive move that the Phillies made at the deadline, I was severely disappointed. I didn't think that was going to be enough. It still might not be, but what he's done since he's been here, and I have his stats prior to today. He's hitting like 310 with like a 380 on base percentage, a 860 OPS, a couple home runs, bunch of doubles, playing really solid defense. And then today it was on display again. The 9th inning, 1-run game. He leads off with a double, ends up scoring a run that, gives them that extra cushion there. And that makes a hell of a catch in center field to kind of rob a home run in the 9th. This guy just brings an energy, and he seems to do something every game to have an impact for the Phillies. It's like when him and Sosa are in the game, they look like a different team to me. They look a little more energized. They look a little more excited to be playing. I wish that was more contagious on the teams, and maybe that's why Garrett Stubbs is here to kind of bring that another guy with that kind of vibe and that kind of excitement for playing. But I mean, I couldn't have been more wrong about the Harrison Bader acquisition. Like, I thought he was a nice player. Right now, he's got to play every day. He's got to play.
Oh yeah.
And I think that when you have, like they had today, him in center, Marsh in left, and Kepler in right, that's your best outfield defense that you can put out there. And I think that should be Bader and Marsh should be in those two positions every day, and you platoon Castellanos and Kepler and right. Like, I think we're at that point now, and I'm glad to see that Topper's sticking with it. He is sitting Castellanos. He is making defensive changes. Like, it's time to win. We're down to the last 20 or so games here. It's time to win, and I a guy like Bader brings like a winning attitude, and it's hopefully it's infectious to the rest of his team. Yeah,
Chris, it's like, this is so well said. So a couple of things. The 9th inning today, when he had that catch, Mike looked at me. He's like, I never knew that you could jump this high. Like, I was like so excited at the Bader catch. Yeah. And the second thing is, I was like, I think that we should all research, because I think that we can have this a podcast segment. I love that he was a fucking ex-Met and now he's our boy. Because there's like Dykstra and Wheeler. There's like a bunch of these dudes, Roger McDowell, I'm thinking, that are like ex-Mets that we can just like stick it up their fucking ass with this dude.
Yep.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
How
long we have him? We just have him for next year too, or 2 years?
It's a mutual option for next year. I think both the team and I think it's like 12 million.
Yeah,
I
think you bring him back, and if you're calling up Crawford, throw him in left field. Boom, solved.
So DPF, I would ask you all to write strongly worded letters to the powers that be to bring Bader back, because I think this is the dude that we need. Like, this is just that energy that we've all been talking about and has been lacking. You want to hit a little ground ball to shortstop and stop halfway to first. We got a guy who's not going to do that. So
Robert's on fire tonight, man.
Yeah.
It's like his third great point.
Robert made this dish. It was like a fucking cabbage soup. Robert, I asked you for the fucking recipe. I still haven't got the DM. This shit looked like fucking amazing.
No more call ups on the screen until you send the cabbage.
I just want to talk about real fast. We touched briefly on the other episodes, like after the All-Star game, about some. I just want to talk about the 3 top draft picks we got real fast. They're part of like the new top 10 that we have after the deadline and on our acquisitions. I really like the Gage Wood kid. 3 years at Arkansas, 9-3, 4.33 RA. It was a little high, but I mean, I didn't see him play until the World Series. So honestly, like, I'm not going to act like I'm one of these guys like, I've seen him since he was 12. You know what I mean? Like, I just seen him this year. But what I've seen, I liked what I saw, and he's now bumped up after the draft. He's the 4th overall Phillies prospect on the list behind
Jesus
Painter,
Christ.
Crawford, and Painter and Miller and Crawford. So I know everybody was talking about, maybe he can help us down the stretch, move him
Nobody's
up.
talking about that anymore.
Yeah, no one's talking about that no more. And I'm glad they're not talking about it because I don't want to rush this kid. This kid's still in rookie ball. He's probably not going to get caught up to move up to Clearwater before this year is over. His estimated date to come up, and the other guys too, Obermuller and Bowker, they're all estimated to come up in 28. Let them develop. We got a staff. And Wood's going to be a reliever anyway. So,
Yeah, I want Wood to come up because, man, the fucking T-shirts I got for this dude, if he's like an 8th or 7th inning guy, come on.
I
Guys.
don't think you have to wait, honestly. Now, I don't know too much about the other guys. I got to dig more on them. I just have their stats and stuff. But I really want to go back and, like, really dig. But Wood, I think he'll be up earlier than 2028, honestly. I'd say, like, 2 years tops. I think maybe out of camp next year he gets to Clearwater or Jersey Shore and then like marinates there. Then the next year, move up depending on how hard he works and all. But I like the moves that they made. I like that they stocked up the pitching in the draft, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm glad, Mike. I'm glad that all that chatter died down because I was getting furious. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Do not rush this kid up and burn him out.
Aiden Miller's really turned around his season.
He has.
Yes.
He's really played well the last month or so. He's hitting the shit out of the ball and doing a lot of nice things. Unfortunately,
it's ever since all of us went there, right,
That's
Chris?
right.
All of us went there, pounded all the beers they had, and we're like cheering Aiden Miller.
And I'm curious to see what he does in camp next year. Maybe he gives Bohm a run for his money.
I mean, conversely, Jimmy's right. Painter's been on a slide, and this could be the longest Tommy John rehab in the history of Tommy John rehabs.
I mean, going back to Miller, this dude has almost 50 steals, right, guys? It's close to it, or he's gonna.
Yeah, he's really turned it up lately. He struggled for a while, but he really turned it on. He turned the Jets on.
Be nice to have him and like think a couple years down the line with Crawford and Miller with the base stealing potential of those two guys.
Yeah,
I mean that's tremendous. The way they run the bases and
because we're kind of like segueing in and we're talking about our guys. Like I hate the fucking Mets. They're bringing these dudes up I never fucking heard of.
Yeah.
McLean, Jonah Tong, my balls. This other guy's coming up. They're throwing fucking no hitters every day, and I'm like, we got fucking Painter, who's supposedly the second coming of fucking Christy Mathewson. They're bringing dudes up in fucking September, and like, you're our playoff starter.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, the Phillies don't have anybody down there that's ready to come up and do that. And it's a shame. I really thought spring training that Painter was going to be that kind of like almost a deadline acquisition, coming up after the deadline, and he just hasn't panned out so far. And hopefully he does. I mean, you keep saying it's he's coming off the surgery, but each start's getting worse and worse and worse. Like I was hoping he'd be getting better and better, but he's doing the opposite. So we'll see, but the Phillies will keep telling you how great he is, just like they tell us how great Nola is.
Yeah.
So
I was actually hoping Painter would get traded.
He would have brought you a haul. I mean,
I was actually hoping he got traded.
Yeah. But it turns out, like, I know we were all upset with the deadline, but so far it's been good with Duran and Bader. They've both been excellent, and so I guess you can't hate Dave all that much.
Dude, I'm just waiting for Will Crow to come up, baby.
What about Jordan Disson, man? What's up with your boy?
What's up with Disson?
I don't know. He said they got him at Jersey Shore. They told him from what I heard from his dad, it wasn't a demotion. It was just they're overloaded with catchers at Reading, and they wanted him to play every day, so they put him back at Jersey Shore. But he's there right now, so I don't know. I'm hoping he's back with Reading next year or by the end of the year.
I don't think I told you this. We got an email to the Drunk Phils fans of a protective order from Jordan Disson and his dad from you, John.
Nah.
Feeling weird, and I was like, I'll bring it up. We'll figure it out.
Nah, I just heard from his dad the other day. He was checking on me. Good dude. But yeah, I'm hoping he rises up somewhat because I don't know. He keeps getting disrespected on the top prospects list.
Well, if there's a bunch of catchers and we keep trading catchers away, he'll eventually be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eventually he's going to be. He probably will be starting soon, and unless we get JT back, who knows? Or it could be a backup.
Could be.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time of the week again, guys. Sponsored by our favorite sports bar jerseys, the O Dumbass of the Week. I haven't been in Florida for a few O Dumbasses, so we had to go right back to Florida because there's a lot going on down there. There's a woman in Florida. We'll call her Summer. She's on the Palm Coast, and she was posing as a nurse. For 18 months, she posed as a nurse. She saw 4,486 patients. She was paid for services on all those patients. And
A naughty nurse?
No,
Are we
like
getting
a regular
okay.
nurse?
Okay.
The thing is she used someone else's credentials that was very similar. We'll call her Spring. So Summer used Spring's credentials to get a job at this hospital on the Palm Coast, where she treated all these patients, 4,486 patients over an 18-month period. The thing is they didn't check her actual identification for an entire year. So there's a couple of O Dumbasses here. The first O Dumbass is Summer, who has posed as an actual nurse for an entire almost year and a half. And the second one is her boss, who never checked her identification. She tried to apparently a couple of times, but Summer would always kind of say, "Oh, I left my ID or my social security card or whatever, at home, and I'll bring it in," and never kind of followed up on it. The other thing she did was she was acquiring, we'll call it Ozempic, allegedly, on the side, and administering that and some acquired birth control injections to other staff members at the hotel as a side gig where she was being paid cash. She's all in all charged with 29 counts of fraud, and she is facing she has a $70,000 bond, and she's facing approximately 10 to 15 years in prison. That is your O Dumbass of the Week from Flagler County in the Palm Coast of Florida.
So that's where Butcher used to go to school.
Oh, it's probably his
Butcher.
cousin then.
The Butcher. So it's funny with like this Ozempic stuff. I like see it and I'm like, I think it's good if like things are making you healthy, but like I was thinking about doing it, but they're like it curbs your appetite for alcohol.
Oh, really?
I'm not interested in that. Not interested in that. I don't
That's
know if I need it
interesting.
anyway, but like, yeah, I guess it's like everything. You feel more full. I don't know. I guess that would be good at some point to like, have 15 beers and be like, all right, I'm done. Because like, I'm not doing 15 sodas. I'm not doing 15 waters at a game. I'm doing 15 beers. Like,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look what it did to Alvarado. He was full of bullshit. So,
oh my gosh, that fucking dude.
That dude gained. He's the only guy in the history of Ozempic that gained weight on himself.
yeah.
Hey, really
Like, you
quick.
didn't lose 1 pound, motherfucker.
Really quick Milwaukee trivia, since we just coming off a series with them. In 1973, there was a trade. There was 3 team members from the Phillies sent to Milwaukee. It was John Vukovich, Bill Champion, and to the Brewers, 4 Jim Lomberg, Kent Brown, Ken Sanders, and Earl Stevenson from the Phillies. Can you guys name the third Philly that was sent to the Brewers in 1973 and why it mattered?
Larry Hissel.
No.
73.
73 sent to the Brewers.
Yeah, a little before my time, but I'll think.
I was born in 73, so
So wait,
Yeah.
73
Mm,
to the Brewers. I would say
73.
that this.
extra credit for why it mattered.
What about the guy that hit the first home run at Vet Stadium? Is that why it matters?
That's not why it mattered.
All right. Is he the uncle to a Phillies player?
I don't know the answer to that.
Don Money?
Don Money, it was the player.
So he
So
is.
why did it matter? So
Money's
Don
isn't
Money.
Money Buddy Kennedy's uncle?
Yeah.
Yes, there
Yeah.
you go. Don Money, John Vukovich, and Bill Champion were sent to the Brewers for Jim Lomberg, Ken Brandt, Ken Sanders, and Earl Stevenson.
Was it Ken Brett?
Ken Brett, yes.
That's
So we
George's
got
brother?
yeah, it
Okay.
is. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
the fucked up. We always get the fucked
The
up.
fucked
brother.
up brother.
We always get the brother. We get Mike Maddox.
But why did Don Money being traded away from the Phillies matter in the early 70s?
Hmm.
That's a good question.
Do you know what position Don Money played?
Oh, he's his first DH?
No.
Is this okay? I'm like,
Was he a third
He
baseman?
wasn't.
He
I
was
was
a
about to
third
say
base-
Schmitty. Yeah.
It paved the way for Mike Schmidt to
Okay,
start
yeah.
every
Alright.
single game.
yeah.
And also, Don Money went on to be a 4-time All-Star for the Brewers.
Yeah.
So helped both
Yeah. There you go.
franchises.
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And by the way,
That's-
shout out to ChatGPT because I freaking love this shit.
Guys, I want to talk about so I'm a big Price is Right fan. I know Steve Mold is too. Do you remember the game called and I'm not 100% sure if it was called it's like where the yodeler is. I think it's called Cliffhanger. So what I want to do is I'm going to say a Phillies reliever and I'm going to give a number of 1 that I have no faith in or 10 I have Mariano faith in, and I want you guys just to be like higher, lower, like the audience does.
Okay.
You know, I think that this is something that's fun.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with Jose Alvarado, and currently I'm at a 4.
Lower.
Lower.
Slightly higher.
Okay. Okay. That's I'm surprised at this. It's a little bit of, but this is good. Max Lazar, I'm a 3.
Higher.
I'm right there. I'm even.
I agree with John. I'm
I'm right there.
About
3, yeah.
appropriate. Lou Trevino, a 3.
A little higher.
I'd say high. I go higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like what I see so far.
Orion Kirkering, I'm at a 2.
Higher.
Lower.
Even.
Yeah, I think he's like the lowest on my list right now. Matt Strom, and this is including today's performance, which was very good, possibly masterful. I'm going to say 6.
Higher.
I'll
right,
stay there.
Right, he's right on. That's
Yeah, I'll stay there.
6 is
6.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Banks, I'm going to go 7.
Even.
Yeah.
Higher.
Right there.
Higher.
7.
I'm a
All
little
right.
higher than that.
I'm not going to do a total trivia question, but the next guy has the second most innings pitched in the Phillies bullpen.
Second most innings pitched in the Phillies bullpen.
And it isn't all with the Phillies, so that's kind of a hint.
With Durant.
Yeah, he has 60 innings this
Yeah.
year, which is a
Wow.
lot for a closer because
Yeah.
Banks has 60.1 and he's the, second. So with Durant, even though there was those 2 kind of like missteps, I'm still at an 8 with him. I feel comfortable when he comes in. I can't give him a Mariano Rivera or Brad Lidge 9 or 10, but 8 is where I'm at with him.
Higher.
Higher. I'd say 8.5, 9.
I'd probably say slightly higher because I think the one game against the Nationals, it was like a couple of opposite field balls that weren't hit that hard. That the game against that he blew the other night against the Mets, though they hit him hard. I'm just surprised for a guy that throws as hard as he does that he's not more of a strikeout pitcher. He put a lot of contact against him, which for a closer isn't always great.
Yeah.
You want guys to come in and blow guys away.
Yep.
But I he's been solid. I mean, nobody's going to be perfect. Even Lidge's perfect season. If we go back, there were great defensive plays that saved his ass, in games. But when he comes in, I'm confident the game's over.
Yeah, little bit more ground balls that I'd like to see, but I'm confident in them.
And, I'm going to keep going because there's some that I left off the list. Tim Meza or Miza. I don't know how to say his name right. Does anyone know?
I think it's
He's your neighbor.
He's basically my neighbor.
Perk Yeomanville or something.
So with Tim Meza, I'm at a 6.
I'll say even up.
Immediately at a 6.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Okay. And then Robertson, I am at a 7 with this dude. I can't fucking believe I'm saying it.
Yeah.
He's been really
right
good.
there.
Yeah.
He's been really good.
I'm waiting for him to crash down to earth. I'm saying lower. The dude was on his couch wasn't he like a greeter at Walmart like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, but he's throwing those receipts right into that.
I did hear that he's the only player in the entire league that drives a minivan.
Oh my God.
Baseball, yeah, he's baseball's Kyle Orton, man. Just like stocking groceries somewhere and shit, and then
Exactly.
just comes out of nowhere and starts.
Hey, before you continue, I'd just like to say thank you, David. Like, I'll take every "you're looking good" compliment.
And we're, after that, we're gonna look to get we've been talking about Ozempic. What's the thing with the eyes that we can maybe have
LASIK.
them? Yeah, we can get
LASIK,
LASIK, and then David, we're like, oh my God, DPF got me LASIK, and they're right. That's why we.
By the way,
video.
my shower scent was provided by Dr. Squatch, Dave.
Guys, we have the birds coming on, so I want to do a wrap up, and I'm going to ask everyone to do 3 things with the wrap up. Your favorite Philly right now, your most hated, or like the one you don't like right now, and the bird score tonight. So let's start with John.
All right, my favorite Philly right now.
Yep.
Schwarby. Gotta go Schwarby. It's the obvious.
Yep.
Hate it. It's Nola. It's Aaron Nola. I think 32-10 Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
I'll go Bader, Castellanos, 28-14 Birds.
I'm going to say Christopher Sanchez. My most hated right now is Ryan Kirkring. And I got the Birds winning 40-17.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. So I am also going to go with Bader and Castellanos. It's nothing to do. We're holding hands here underneath the
I'm actually
desk.
Fiddling with
it's getting weird, but that's why we have to leave early here, folks. Love's love. So I saw, like, we were talking about this. I saw it was like 8.5 was the spread. And I'm like, man. And Mike's like, oh, it's the Micah Parsons. He's not there anymore. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's an NFC East game. Like, this could be close, right? 8.5. I'm like, I don't know. I might take the under on that. But you know what? I think there's a rain game tonight. You hand the ball off to fucking Saquon 42 times. He gets, 270 tonight, and I think it's going to be 35-14, and it's 35-7 for a while until the very end. And I don't know. There's some fluke. So we have a Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Thank you to Jerseys for being on sponsor, and we'll be on next week at some time. We'll figure it out. Enjoy the game tonight, everyone, and thanks for staying with us.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Fuck
the Cowboys. People were big mad about that.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck that fucking turncoat. Gotta end this motherfucker.